He's an IT professional with over 17 years of work experience and a ardent YouTuber with over 5,000 subscribers and 160k views, and also a Koran with whopping 9 million views. Looks like Anand is very passionate about sharing his knowledge and wisdom to the next gen. Kudos for all the service that you have been doing, Anand. He is a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. IT professional and 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. career coach. Sounds interesting. He manages global service delivery and major IT and business transformation programs of a high-tech manufacturing company. He is a resume writer, corporate trainer, career coach, and also a Toastmaster. He has won Customer Centricity, Inspiring Innovation, and BU Head Special Award, Project Management of the Quarter, and Best Delivery Team Awards in the last 5 years. That's a huge list of accolades, and wish you many more accolades to come. In today's episode, let's learn more about Anand's journey in becoming a career coach and also get his insights on career planning and personal development. Hello, hi there. Welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, The Guiding Voice for a Better Future. This podcast is to help professional students, IT employees, and entrepreneurs to shape their careers. If you have tuned into our podcast for the first time, you have missed a lot of stuff. But don't worry, all our previous episodes are available on your favorite podcast listening platforms, be it Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Spotify, Casters, GeoSavan, and also on YouTube. Also, if you have not rated our podcast on Apple, please provide your rating and leave a positive review, because every rating and review will motivate us to bring in more and more content to you. This is your host Navin Samala, and I have about 18 years of rich work experience in the field of information technology. So folks, in every episode, we interact with industry experts or thought leaders or academicians or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations that will help each one of you learn great things. Also, we will share an interesting trivia or a fun fact about the IT world or technology towards the end. You'll acquire more knowledge per every minute than any other podcast in this space. So don't miss listening to TGV or watching TGV episodes on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. So folks, today we are going to discuss a very critical topic, which is about career planning and personal development. And we are pleased to have Anand part of TGV's journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Anand, welcome to TGV.
Thank you so much, Naveen. You just made me a celebrity, feel like a celebrity. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be here to this podcast, The Guiding Voice. And I want to thank you for the great job you're doing and really, congratulate you for bringing in a lot of professionals who have shared a lot of insights, with the professional community. So I think, this is a great way to connect people from the previous generations to the next generations and tie the right dots. So absolutely great job, Naveen. Thank you so much, and I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you so much for all the kind words. In fact, our intent is to give the guided and curated information to our audience so that they can get benefit out of it. And thank you for all the patrons like you who are really coming forward and making this journey much more enriching. So, Anand, with that being said, can we talk briefly about your career journey? And especially, I'm curious about the top three things that you want to call out, which have helped you reach where you are today.
Absolutely. So I've been in the industry, in the IT industry for last 17 years now, and I have played different roles right from being a junior, being a fresh in the industry, doing hands-on work, coding and all of that. And from there, I have gradually moved one step at a time into different roles. And I think the most I learned was when I was at a customer location in the US, and that has kind of given me a lot of confidence in knowing what I am good at and how I should approach my career. So it has been quite a journey, honestly, last 17 years doing different roles. So today I am a delivery manager with one of the leading companies here. But then if you ask me what are the things which stand out, okay, the top two or three things which I would like to share with you is I was fortunate enough to fail fast. Okay, so I failed early in my career. The first couple of years, 2-3 years were extremely challenging. So that is why, I learned a lot in terms of what I am good at and what I am not so good at. So that kind of, gave me a lot of direction, and all of it was happening just by chance, nothing was designed. Okay. So I was fortunate to fail fast and learn fast, and in the process identify my weaknesses and my strengths. And then luckily I got a lot of good mentors or bosses. They were always pushing me in the right direction, and at times they were having more confidence on me than what I myself had. So they always allowed me to, or put me into situations where I had to punch beyond my weight. So that is how I learned, and that is how I am here in front of you today.
That's wonderful. I think you brought in a very valid point about failing faster. And in fact, I have to appreciate you because you have successfully waded through the extremely challenging situations and demonstrated that kind of resiliency. And now you have reached a stage wherein you started providing a lot of career guidance sessions and helping the next generation. And one other thing which stand out is more about having a mentor, because this has been a consistent theme by many of our speakers, because without mentors, I think it is very difficult for us to navigate further. And definitely we can learn from their mistakes or probably adapt some of the best practices, so on and so forth.
I just wanted to say, at times you may not even realize that somebody is your mentor. Okay. At times you might just be learning by observation, but there are so many people from whom you can learn directly, and from so many people you can learn indirectly just by observation. So I think if you keep your eyes and ears open, there are a lot of people who are ready to give you a lot of things. So I think, that way it is about one's ability to absorb as much as they can in the positive way.
Yeah, you have brought in an interesting point about passive mentorship. It's about the observation and all. And probably I would say part of my success is because of observing leaders, okay, who are really good at managing people, who are good at handling some critical situations and all. Yeah, definitely not just the direct mentorship, but observing some of the great leaders, the way they are executing, the way they are dealing with people is going to extremely help. Yeah, thanks for bringing that point as well. Now, shifting gears slightly and talking about this topic, why did you propose this topic of career planning and personality development?
One core reason, Naveen, I think, is because if you look at our education system, the way the academics are planned, we teach a lot of technical stuff. Okay, so a lot of education is around subject matter or around technical aspects of how one should do engineering or how one should do medical, etc. Right? But what we prepare for is, somebody to go into the market and get a good job. Okay, but what we don't prepare people for is the long term, right? How do you plan your career long term from one job to another? How do you grow in your career and make a successful career? And it is very close to my heart, because I think not just career planning but personal development as a person. How do you develop certain qualities which are not taught to you, right? So there are certain things which will be taught to you, but there are certain softer skills which are never there in the part of any curriculum, which one has to again imbibe by observing others or by learning by experience. So experiential learning is another important area. And I thought, those are very close to my heart, and I should talk to you about these things so that the community can gather those inputs in this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being so candid and talking about this particular expectations. And you rightly said, see, today, especially in the community where we have this herd mentality or the herd mindset, follow what others are doing, is at least now things are changing because people are opening up to other domains beyond engineering, medicine. But you have rightly mentioned, it's more about learning what is not being taught or learning what is not written in the books based on the experiential learning and probably learning by observation, so on and so forth. Yeah, I think that is very, very important. And thank you for proposing such a wonderful topic. So let me move on to my next question. We spoke about this career planning very briefly so far, but when it comes to career planning, we see people struggle a lot, especially after reaching a certain stage. I've also seen some early career professionals, okay, who fail to adjust and they try to probably shift to something which is not their choice, but they wanted to do it because to earn money or whatever it is. Likewise, there are so many challenges about career planning. So can you share with our audience a few myths about the career planning as such?
Absolutely. I think, when I observe freshers And I used to take, and I still take a lot of trainings for freshers, okay, in my own company. So I train a lot of freshers, and when they come fresh out of college, I'm surprised to see that some of them have already made up their mind that what they want to do. Even though that they don't have a single day of work experience, they already have some notion that I want to do X thing, I want to do, let's say, coding, and coding is better versus testing or support is, not that great. So I think a lot of it is perception. Okay, so people need to give some time to themselves to understand what are their interests, what are their strengths, because at academics, it is more of theoretical knowledge. But once you come to work, you will experience a lot of things. And I think the biggest myth is that there is going to be one perfect job. Okay, one perfect setting where things will stay hunky dory forever. I think that's the biggest myth. Nothing of that sort happens. I mean, it, I know it. It is about continuous learning. It is about learning one thing at a time, moving from one challenge to another challenge. And as we move in that journey, we discover new things, not just discover in the sense of career, but we also discover our own qualities, right? What I probably would have done more if I had not done this kind of a role or this kind of a job. So I think the biggest myth is searching for a perfect job that, people need to get out of their head. I think the sooner they do it, I think the better it is. And the second is we should be open-minded to transition from one stream to another. Okay. And I can give you a very good example. I have been leading projects where I have worked with functional consultants. Okay, now these functional consultants are actually domain experts. They come from, let's say, manufacturing domain. Okay, so they have some 15, 20 years of experience in manufacturing company, or they have 15, 20 years of experience in finance. Okay, so they come to IT because, let's say, they have learned ERP, let's say Oracle or SAP, and they become functional consultant. Then they tell the organizations how their finance or how their manufacturing modules have to be set up. So that's a big change for them. Okay, coming from a manufacturing industry or a finance industry into IT. I think that's a perfect example of how things can change 15, 20 years down the line. Okay, so I think the biggest myth is if I'm an IT developer, I have to stay in IT, or if I am a manufacturing consultant, I have to stay in manufacturing. I think we should be open and flexible to take things as they come in our stride. I think those are a couple of things which people should remember in the long run.
I love that example of these functional consultants, especially those who are into manufacturing. They come to IT and they become a very good experts in the ERP. Because they know in and out of the business. Absolutely. This has been fantastic so far. Let me move on to my next question. How should someone plan the careers? Like right from the beginning, and when should they start?
Okay, so from my own experience, I can tell you it needs to start right at the beginning. So you need to begin with the end in mind. But then at the beginning, sometimes, people are not sure what they are good at or what they should pursue. And I think the easiest way or the simplest way to approach this is by trial and error method. I myself, in the first couple of years have tried my hands at development projects, on testing projects, on support projects. I did not do it by choice. Okay, my company was telling me, okay, do this, do that, and I was just following what they wanted me to do, and I was not stubborn. I would say I was not stubborn. I was flexible, and that's how I realized that probably I'm not that great in coding. If I stay in coding, probably I'll be competing with somebody who is super talented in coding. So maybe I am better in analysis. So let me go into business analysis, kind of a functional or techno-functional role. So I think from a planning perspective, to answer your question, first couple of years can be trial and error, where you try different things, okay, and then experiment, and then find out that, okay, this is my strength. And once you identify your strength, you should capitalize on it. And I say this in almost my every other YouTube video to a lot of people: find your strength and build on your strength. Okay, because if you try to do something which you are not good at, you would waste time. At least you should know what is my primary skill, what is my secondary skill. If you know these two things, just capitalize on it and build from there. And today, if I tell you that, okay, I am a career coach and I am coaching a lot of people, it is because in this 17 years of work experience, somewhere I have realized that that is my skill, my ability to talk to people, my ability to tell them what options they should choose, and people have responded to me. So, you need to identify the skill and then capitalize on it. That kind of gives you a very good runway for your entire career.
Such a profound statement. Begin with the end in mind. I think it is listed as one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. And thank you for sharing your own journey. I think you have been very flexible, as you mentioned. Like whatever the challenge has been thrown out, you try to explore, experiment, and that's where once you identified your own primary and secondary skills, then the navigation will become smoother. Wonderful. Now let's talk about our second topic for today. So when should someone start working on personal development?
Oh, I think, nowadays the world has changed a lot. I mean, when I was in school, I can tell you I was such an introvert that I would never go on stage. Okay, but now I see my son who is probably 13 years old, but since his first standard or even in the kindergarten, they were asked to go on stage. Okay, so I think now the education system and the approach has completely changed, which is a great thing. And I think what people need to do from a personal development perspective is go on stage as soon as you can. Doesn't matter whether you're good or bad at it. Doesn't matter whether you are a good performer or whether you are scared of being in front of audience. Go on stage and conquer your fear. I think that is absolutely important, and it has to start early, because I have one more thought that what we see out of successful people, and my favorite example is Virat Kohli. You see Virat Kohli scoring tons of runs on the field. That is a result, right? That is an output of the long hours that he has spent in the net practice. So if somebody has fear for public speaking, what generally people do is they don't speak, right? So if I am scared to go on stage, I would hesitate to go on stage and I would say, hey, let's not go there. I'm not good at it. It has to actually be the other way around. You have to practice more, go there, fail more, so that you will become better. So if Virat Kohli wants to become a good batsman, he has to go into nets every day and practice. And that is exactly the same for a public speaker. You have to go and practice it every day. And it applies in every aspect of life. You see, we have to conquer our fears, and personality development has to do a lot with being fearless. It has to do a lot with being fearless, and it has to start early.
Wow, I think it's very inspiring. I really love that example of Virat Kohli. Like net practice is very important for you before you actually perform on the ground. Yeah, and I can correlate that with the recent gold medal winning boy, Mr. Neeraj Chopra. Everybody thinks, okay, he has become an overnight star, but behind that there is like 5 to 10 years of efforts, right? It's not that he has become an overnight millionaire or something like that. So it's the case with Usain Bolt. I think Usain Bolt also mentioned in one of the interviews, like right now I might have won like $36 million, okay, or I might be earning so much of amount, but that is not just because of the 9.5 second sprint, but the 10 years hard work behind it. Yeah. I think such a profound thought. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now let's talk about your passion to give back. Anand, I'm really mesmerized when I was researching your profile and all. Like you are a YouTuber and you are an avid Koran with 9 million views, right? So can you please share the motivation behind that? Why are you so passionate about giving back to society?
Okay, so I will again, narrate one personal incident. When I was a fresher and about to get into the industry, I had a lot of questions. Okay, but what was lacking is I did not find anybody to whom I can reach and get my answers. Okay, so, and in those days, internet was not that much available in smaller places or smaller cities. So we used to struggle to even gather information. Today, it is in your fingertips, it is on your mobile. But I have been into an era, or I've been into a time where I have struggled to get the right direction, the right guidance. And I had very basic questions, not something which were very detailed, but I wanted to know very basic things. And I think now when I have acquired a little bit of success, and when I know a little bit of stuff more than what others would know, it is my duty and my responsibility to share it. And it can be as simple as when I was in the US, there was a question on Quora, and I will tell you how I started. There was a question somebody who was supposed to travel from India to US. That person asked a question on Quora: how much time does it take to travel from San Francisco airport to this hotel? Okay, it was a very basic question, and I was in US, and I knew that answer. So I had just written that answer. That was my first answer probably. And since then, I have written more than 1,000 answers. Okay, because it just happened one answer after another. And then it is not that I have not failed. Okay, I have written 2, 3 different blogs. I started my blogs. I have failed. Okay, so that has been part of the journey. That has been the learning experience. But giving back in the sense that people have questions and they need to know the answers, right? And if you have experience, if you have knowledge, there is no point in keeping that knowledge with yourself. Okay, and if I share my knowledge and if I get into that conversation, I learn a lot of things. The same is happening today when I'm talking to you. You know, it is a two-way conversation. We are learning from each other, and it just captured my mind. And right from Quora, I went into YouTube, and I think the biggest fear when I went into YouTube was getting in front of the camera. I cannot tell you how much apprehension I had, or how much was my, what should I call it? I was literally scared to get in front of camera, honestly. Okay. And if you see some of my earlier videos, first few videos, you can make that out that this person is not very comfortable in coming in front of camera. But today I've done 80 videos. I have done 80 videos and I'm super confident when it comes to camera. You know, I have no hesitation. So that way my personality has grown, right? And it has gone by practice. So what I'm preaching is something which is helping me, correct? And then today I've moved from Quora to YouTube, and now I have moved to LinkedIn. And just a couple of days back, I wrote one post on LinkedIn which just went viral and kept trending on LinkedIn. I got more than 3 million views in 2 days. You know, and my subscriber has now increased from 4,000 to 12,000. You know, within 48 hours. So amazing things can happen. It is just about one's ability to understand what your strengths are, build on it, capitalize on it, and giving back is the natural thing which comes to one, right? I cannot just go and tell everybody you should do this. If it comes to you, then one should do it, and I am there for it. Of course, there is a commercial aspect to it, you know, which sometimes people may want to commercialize and don't want to commercialize. That's okay. But I think as long as you have the right intentions, people are ready to accept that.
Wow. Yeah, I have gone through that post actually. Like it had a huge number of comments and likes, and congratulations on reaching that 3 million mark. I think that's wonderful. And you have been demonstrating this power of vulnerability. Like you have been very candid. You spoke about fear of getting in front of camera and all. Yeah, that is one of the most important leadership qualities for this 21st century. And kudos to your passion, and thank you for all the good work that you are doing. And in some sense, the TGV's intentions and your intentions are almost the same. We also had the struggle of finding right mentors when I passed out of college, and similarly Sudhakar is a little elder to me, but he also had similar problem. And then once we met a couple of years ago, like our ideas matched, and then itself we decided let's do something. And we used to visit the colleges and the B schools, and also we are empaneled as mentors on some of the colleges. And later on, once this lockdown kicked in, then we thought, okay, how do we reach? Then this entire idea of building the podcast and the TGV as a platform as such began. And from there is no looking back, because as long as even if one person gets influenced by one of the episodes and all, that itself gives us immense satisfaction. And today we get a lot of calls saying that, hey, this episode is so good and it helped me get into a job, and this helped me take a particular decision, and this actually clarified me whether or not I should choose X technology or Y technology and all. Yeah, definitely hard work will pay off. And as you mentioned, since we are working with the right intention, we don't have to worry about the commercials aspects as such. Everything will be taken care. So this is an amazing conversation so far, Anand. But let's add some spice to the episode. I'm going to ask you a few interesting rapid fire questions wherein you can respond them very quickly, like 2 to 3 words or maximum one phrase if you are ready.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for volunteering. Let me move ahead with my first bullet out of the rapid fire. What are the 3 words or a single phrase that describes Anand?
I would say I'm more of a problem solver.
Wow. That's really crisp. Moving on. Which movie story resonates well with your life story?
Movie story. Okay. I've been a movie buff for a very long time. In fact, I started a movie blog which failed. But movie which resonates with me, I don't think they have made it yet. So probably need to search for some producer.
Fair enough. I wish you all the best. I'm sure if you continue this journey of inspiring people, definitely it will be a biopic one day. All right. Moving on to my next question. What is the hidden talent that no one knows about you, Anand?
Okay, so I look very serious. Okay, and a lot of people tell me on YouTube, smile a lot more than what you do. But I am a very funny guy. Okay, I am a very funny guy, and people who are close to me know that. In fact, I have won a Toastmasters area level. No, I'm not won. I was second in the humorous speech contest in a Toastmasters area level contest. Okay, and the humorous part is I came second, and there were only two speakers.
Good one. Congratulations on that. Yeah, at times like we looks are deceiving, right? I can completely sense the kind of sense of humor that you have and all. And thanks again for being so candid. All right, moving on to my next question. What has been a question on your mind which never got answer for?
Which never got answered. Okay, so when we travel in flights or when we go to movie theaters, I still have not figured out which armrest is mine.
I can't stop laughing. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so let me fire the last bullet out of the rapid fire. Anand, what is one message that you would like to give to your own younger version?
My own younger version. Okay, be fearless. Okay, absolutely fearless. Be fearless, and I heard this in one of Sheryl Sandberg was, I think, COO of Facebook. What would you do if you were not afraid? And that kind of blew me away. If I was fearless when I was young, I would probably be somewhere. But thankfully, I'm fearless now. So yeah.
Yeah, better late than never. Such a great and amazing and very candid rapid fire round. So with that, let me flip back to the mainstream and ask you one last question for this conversation. What will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers?
Okay. See, making big in career, people have this notion that I need to be extremely talented. I need to be very sharp in my mind. Maybe I need to be a genius, or I need to have a lot of special skills or something of that sort in order to make big in career. And I have read so many books. Okay, I have seen so many movies about great people, and I'm sure everybody has done that. You have done it. A lot of people have seen it. I think the key learning, and I was very impressed with this movie, The Founder. Okay, which is the story of Ray Kroc, I think the founder of McDonald's. And in that movie, I heard a quote from Calvin Coolidge. Okay, which says that nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Okay, talent will not, because nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not, because unrewarded genius is practically a cliche. Education will not, because the world is full of educated. Persistence and determination only are omnipotent. That is the message I want to share with everybody. Be persistent and be determined. You will reach your goal.
In fact, I take that quote myself as well. We have been doing this. I think this will be our 170 plus episodes by the time it gets aired and all. But there's no looking back. We never thought of how many downloads we have. We never thought of how popular we are getting and all. It's all about sharing knowledge. Are we demonstrating consistency? Are we being persistent enough? That has been our key focus. And as you rightly mentioned, I completely concur with you. Nothing can beat persistence and nothing can beat determination. So thank you so much for such an amazing and very, very motivational conversation. Anand, thank you again for joining us today. It was a great topic to talk about career planning and personal development, and really appreciate you being part of TGV's journey in shaping the lives and careers of millions across the globe.
Thank you, Naveen. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, so it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. So folks, today's trivia is about a gadget, and here comes my question. Have you heard about a gadget named Panono? I'm sure you might be thinking, but let me tell you the details. Panono is a gadget which is released in 2014. It is a panoramic ball camera which captures everything in every direction when thrown. Interesting, isn't it? Thank you so much for listening. There is more in store, folks. Stay tuned. Take care. Be safe. Until next time. Bye-bye. And we are signing off for today. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful guest.